is a sports catastrophe special presentation. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to an audio version of the World Cup draw and my reactions to it and who I think will do well and who won't do so well. So buckle up. Now, I wanted to do a video one, but I think I convey more feelings by audio and with sports catastrophe. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go through each of the 8 groups one by one, give my thoughts and historical context and all that as best as I can. So buckle up. This will be fun. So we begin in Group A, and the first team in Group A was, of course, Qatar. They're the hosts. They somehow won the World Cup bid. It was shocking that England or the United States failed to do it. But Qatar, I mean, the country's not really known for their soccer outside of Asia, so that was weird. Even Saudi Arabia would have been a better pick. I know that you're saying, wait a minute, why would you say Saudi Arabia? Because Saudi Arabia has been to the World Cup before. They have a history in the World Cup and all that. But anyhow, so Qatar was A1. So in Qatar's group will be Holland, aka the Netherlands, Senegal, and Ecuador. I mean, watching the World Cup draw video, I saw that Canada better get in Group A because it would be perfect. They had a chance to be in Group A, but they fucked up and are not in. So that means that it's Qatar, Holland, Senegal, and Ecuador. Qatar, of course, doesn't have a World Cup history. Group B, Holland does. Holland hold the record for most finals without a championship. They went to the finals in 74, 78, and 2010, but are 0 for 3 in World Cups. No other country has fallen 3 times in the finals. Well, I know some. I think a few may have fallen 3 times, but they haven't. But they've won titles. Holland has never won a title. 74 was their best chance for total football, losing to Germany, kind of a penalties fest, if you will. But yeah, 78 they lost to Argentina because of the home country's quote unquote tactics. And 2010, Spain was just that much good, even though that Spain was overrated and all that. So anyway, Holland's back after missing the World Cup in 2018, shocking a lot of people in Europe. There's another country that missed in 2018 that were shocking. European team that was shocking. But more on that later. Anyhow, so Holland, they're back. They were a seeded team, one of the top 8 teams, so Holland gets to be the main guy. No, Holland was the best, was in pot 2. Anyway, could have been in pot 1 if it wasn't for Qatar. Anyhow, so we got Qatar and Holland. Senegal shocked everyone in their first World Cup appearance in 2002. They took on France in the tournament's opening game in Korea, and Papa Bouba Diop scored a big goal to give Senegal the 1-0 win over France. Senegal got through and actually took out, they took out Denmark, if memory serves me right, in the round of 16 on a golden goal. I think it was Diop or someone. I can't remember who scored. And then, unfortunately, Senegal had it done to them by Turkey. Turkey scored a golden goal against Senegal to knock them out of the World Cup in the quarterfinals in 2002. That's still pretty good. Ecuador, I don't really know about Ecuador at the World Cup. I'm going to have to take a closer look and take a look. Because, honestly, I don't know much about Ecuador at the World Cup. Well, they went in 2002, 2006, and 2014. So 2002, they went out in the group stage, being 1 and 2 in their group. In 2006, they actually qualified out of the group. Oh, yeah, that's right. I think that was England who knocked... No, wait. England didn't knock Ecuador out, did they? Well, 2002, they were bottom of the group, in a group with Mexico, Italy, and Croatia. Yeah, they did beat Croatia, though. In 2006, that was right. England knocked them out of the World Cup. Ecuador beat Poland and Costa Rica to get in, and then they lost to Germany in the last game. They missed Group A, so they would have to play England, and they lost 1-0 on David Beckham's free kick. That's right. And then in 2014, they took third in the group with France, Switzerland, and Honduras. So, yeah. and now they're in with Qatar, Senegal, and Holland. I don't know much about Ecuadorian history at the World Cup, but that's what it is. So, uh, early predictions: Holland, and it could be Qatar. Qatar has a chance. I think Qatar and Senegal will fight for that second spot. Ecuador, I'm not too sure about, but I think Holland will get in. Get in. Qatar and Senegal will fight for a spot, but I think Qatar might beat it. Oh, and I forgot to mention about Senegal. Is that Senegal? The last time they went to the World Cup was 2018. But that's not the point. The point is the biggest shock was that Senegal and Japan were tied in the group and all that. They had the same record, same goals again, goal differential, same result against each other. I think he tied. Japan ended up going to the round of 16 on fair play points. Japan was more disciplined than Senegal, and it's not just those fans that were in the stands picking up the garbage and all that. That became an international sensation. But anyway, yeah, it's surprising about Senegal and all that. So maybe Senegal will try to exercise the demons of 2018. We'll see. We'll see. All right, so that was it. Group B was the group that saw England as the seeded team. So England, who shockingly lost Euro final at home on penalties, well, it's England, what do you expect, to Italy. Now the joke's on Italy because they're not in the World Cup. Yeah, that's right. They fucked up against North Macedonia. Pardon my language, but that's the way I feel. And Italy would have faced Portugal for a spot in the World Cup. That would have been amazing. One of those countries would have been fucked over, maybe Portugal. But as is, England was the top team in Group B. They were, and imagine the jaw on the look at my jaw. My jaw dropped when the Americans were put in the same group as England. Are you nuts? This is the colonial series. You know, the American way of thinking against the Redcoats. Because, you know, U.S. beat England in the Revolutionary War to become a country. People remember that. I know it's hard to press. And, you know, I am of English descent. For me, it's simple. I'm a diamond by birth. My paternal side, rest in peace, Dad, is diamond, so I'm half English. However, crazy as it sounds, and I don't think many people know, that I'm part American too. Now let me explain. My mom, my maternal grandmother, or my mom's mom, was born in Pennsylvania in 1925. Well, she died in 2012, but you know, she was from Pennsylvania. She moved to Baden to be with my grandpa, and then you know, my mom's half American because of the fact that you know, my my grandmother was, well, my maternal grandmother was from Pennsylvania. So not Pennsylvania, Dutch country, but from Pennsylvania. So the United States. So I'm half English, quarter American, and quarter German heritage because the Snyder side is also a German heritage. So anyway, I have a little bit of hard feelings about England USA. Well, two of the biggest games in World Cup history happened between England and the US. England lost to the Americans 1-0 in 1950, which shocked a lot of people because the Americans were lucky to get into the 1950 World Cup in the first place. I think there were a lot of people saying, fuck that shit. But anyway, England got in that game. And a lot of people said it was 10-1 or even 10-0, but nope, it was 1-0. And the Americans didn't really have the press. Only one reporter talked about that game. Guess the Americans didn't take the World Cup seriously. But they did after that. Although it would take 40 years until the Americans got back to a World Cup after that mistake. And let's not forget 2010 when England had a chance to crush the Americans in the first game of the group stage in South Africa. England was up 1-0. Frank Lampard scored quickly. It was like, yes, baby, yes. And then Robert Green, that piece of you know what, he misses a shot, a Landon Donovan shot that wasn't really a shot. He scored it past him, tie game 1-1, game over. That actually set America in motion to win their group and get to the knockout stages in 2010. And for England to have to scramble to beat Algeria, they tied Algeria and they had that win over Slovenia. I think it was Slovenia. It had to be Slovenia. Or was it Algeria? No, the Americans beat Algeria on the final day to get in there. But yeah, it was pathetic. Robert Greene was just a fucking prick in that game. And then you got yourself the what they call the Islamic Republic of Iran. So Iran's in this game. I know I could say something about the Flock of Seagull song, but that's all I'm gonna say. Iran's World Cup history hasn't really been that good. I don't think so. I'm not really too keen on that. And the funny thing about Group B is that the fourth team is either Wales, Ukraine, or Scotland. Like it hasn't been set yet. Normally it would be, but the pandemic screwed everything up. But let me explain. Now, there were supposed to be 3 European squad matches teams based off of playoffs. However, because Ukraine is in this war as of right now against Russia, and Russia got themselves DQ'd because of their stupid war thing and refused to back down, Ukraine was supposed to play Scotland last week for a spot, for a chance to face Wales. Well, Wales beat, I think, Austria. Remember, just be right. So Ukraine was supposed to play Scotland, and the winner would face Wales. Well, Wales beat Austria. But the problem is, because of the war, Ukraine got their game postponed till June. So Ukraine has to play Scotland in June. The winner of that game faces Wales. And the funny thing is, if Scotland beats Ukraine, no matter what, England will face a home nation in the group stages. Now, here's the funny thing. Now, if you know your UK geography like I do, well, partially like I do, the home nations are these British Commonwealth nations of England, Wales, Northern Ireland, not the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, and Scotland. They're all part of the UK, and they all decided to Brexit or leave. So England has dealt with Wales before in the group stages in Euro 2016, and England has had to deal with Scotland in both Euro 96 and the last Euro 2020. Well, -1. But yeah, it's funny. England and Scotland, the battle royale that could happen in Group B. Man, everyone will be watching on the screens in the UK, and that game will go third and last. So yeah, that would be crazy, don't you think? All right, so that's Group B. Group C sees, pardon the pun, Argentina being the seeded team that got in. So Argentina, Leo Messi, will he or won't he be part of the World Cup in 2022? I think he will. I mean, after all, Leo Messi was part of the Argentine squad that actually went and won the Copa America last year. So that's the Copa America. That's the South American equivalent of Euro, if you must know. So yeah. Anyway, so Argentina, look, they're 2-time world champs. I say, or 1 time. I know they won in 1978. I think they're only 1-time champs, if I remember correctly. I know Uruguay's 2-time champ. I think they're 1-time champs. 1978, when they beat Holland, the aforementioned Holland. Well, they hosted the tournament, even though they had the freaking military junta. That didn't really help out much. Yep. So England won the World Cup in 1966. I forgot to mention that. So Argentina's first team they had to deal with is Mexico. Mexico, of course, the team that always seems to do well on home turf in CONCACAF or North American qualifying because of Stadio Azteca. Azteca being a house of horrors for both the American and Canadian teams. I mean, Canada took a point off Mexico at Azteca, which was huge. Because that point actually helped Canada win the qualification group. But it didn't matter because Canada was put in pot 4 instead of pot 2. Fuck. So anyway, yeah, Mexico actually holds the record for most losses in a World Cup, like by a country, with all their appearances combined, like most losses. But despite that, Mexico has had a few chances in the knockout stages. 86, when they hosted the tournament, they got to the knockout stages and actually beat, what was it, Bulgaria, thanks to Negrati's spider kick. And in 2002, they shocked a lot of people getting to the knockout stages, but the Americans took them out before the Germans took them out. The third team in Group C is Poland, or Polska. My sister-in-law Marlene's family has the Polish side to her and all that, and before she married my brother. But yeah, Poland, the Polish Eagles, they actually won a playoff against, ain't the wrong, Turkey? I would like to say Turkey, but no, Portugal took down Turkey. Forgot, oh, Sweden, of course. Poland took down Sweden, who was the team that knocked Italy out of the World Cup in 19 World Cup chances in 2018. So Polska beat Sweden. So Poland looks good. If Lewandowski is healthy, Poland could do something about it. The World Cup for Poland, they've had a pair of third place finishes in 74 and 82, shocking a lot of people in the process. And then, of course, you got Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi Arabia has had their good moments and their bad moments. Not a lot of good moments, except for the fact that in '94 they shocked Belgium in the group stages and got to the round of 16 somehow. Meanwhile, this is the same team that got crushed 8-0 by Germany in 2002. So yeah. So Saudi Arabia, a lot of people don't like this country because of their human rights records and all that. The season's soccer team do better. Anyhow, well, I forgot to say Group B that England and US are definitely going to make it. I think they're definitely. Group C, I think it's going to be Argentina and maybe Poland. I wouldn't sleep on Poland. Maybe Mexico, but I'm going to go with Poland. Somehow, in some way, I think Poland is going to move on. All right, so that's 3 down, and now let's go to Group D. France was the seeded team that made Group D. France, of course, the defending World Cup champs after their win over Croatia at last time's World Cup in Russia. So France looking good. That's their second World Cup win. 98 was their other one, which they crushed Brazil thanks to Ronaldo being, not Cristiano Ronaldo, margin, but thanks to Ronaldo being asleep at the switch, if you will. So their first French opponent is Denmark. You know, the team that had a lot of people like talking. Denmark got to the, was it the semifinals or the quarterfinals? No, semifinals of Euro, shocking a lot of people, especially when their match against, I would like to say North Macedonia, or was it Sweden? But anyway, I think it might be Sweden. But anyway, Denmark at Euro 2020, they had the first match marked by Christian Eriksen's sudden collapse on the pitch. Thankfully, though, he's okay, and he starts playing again. Denmark made an inspirational run to the semis. Sadly, though, England had to take them out. Anyway, Denmark in the World Cup have been middling results and all that. They've been okay. Kasper Schmeichel's a good goalie, following in his father Peter's footsteps. But yeah, Denmark in the World Cup, they've been okay. I know they crushed Uruguay one time, 6-1 in '86, and they looked good, but then they were exposed and all that. And Denmark missed in '94 by the slimmest of margins. They actually had as many points as Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, in '94 qualification, but they lost because Ireland scored more goals, and they both had the same goal differential. Ironically enough, France missed in '94 because France needed just one freaking point against Israel and Bulgaria to get into the '94 World Cup, and they fucked up both up on home turf at the Parc des Princes. They lost to Israel, which was bad enough, and then they lost to Bulgaria because stupid David Ginola didn't run the clock down and all that. France had the tie they needed, and then Bulgaria scored to win the game, get to the World Cup, and surprise everyone by getting to the semifinals where they got, was it Italy who got them or Brazil? I think it was Italy. And then Bulgaria got crushed by Sweden in the third place game. You got Tunisia. I'm like, Tunisia at the World Cup? I don't know how many times Tunisia's been to the World Cup. So I have to go through the notifications and see Tunisia. How many times have they been to the World Cup? Oh, they've been to the World Cup 5 times. They've been to the World Cup 5 times before this year, which was shocking. How good they have been. In '78, they were in a group with Poland, Germany, and Mexico. Well, West Germany, whatever. But Tunisia failed at the buzzer. They did beat Mexico, which was almost like every time. But Germany ruined Tunisia's chances to qualify. In '98, Tunisia got in a group with Romania, England, and Colombia, but only got one tie, and that was against Romania. In the 2002 World Cup, they played. They were in the group of Japan, Belgium, and Russia, but Tunisia got one measly point, and that was against Japan, I think. Oh, Belgium. Ooh, but Belgium's a different team this year. 2006, they got to the World Cup and got only one tie against Saudi Arabia. Speaking of Saudi Arabia, that was the group where Spain and Ukraine just basically took over. And in 2018, they got to the World Cup. They were in England's group, the group with England, Belgium, and Panama. So, yeah, they got to the World Cup last year and got their butts handed to them. But still, that's pretty good. And the last team in Group D is the convoluted playoff that Australia. Well, here it's a two-part playoff. Australia faces the United Arab Emirates. Both teams took third place in their groups in Asia. Third? Yeah, they took third in their spots in Asia. So they have to play a one-game playoff in early June. The winner of Australia Emirates takes on Peru, who took fifth place in South America and got through to a playoff. So Peru could possibly be going to the World Cup. They were the darlings of 2018. Well, 1978 they were major darlings because they almost got to the third place game. Peru shocked Scotland 3-1 in 1978. Remember, serves me right. Cubias did pretty well for himself. Well, I know they played in 82 as well. But yeah, I personally think it's going to be France and Denmark. I would say Peru possibly if they make it through, or else it could be a two-team group. But yeah, Denmark looks good. All right, so that's half the groups. Now on to Group E. And Spain was the team who qualified, who was the top team. So Spain, two-time Euro champs. But they won the World Cup in 2010, 1-0 over Holland in extra time. They have a great defense. I talked about Sergio Ramos in a recent Sports Catastrophe birthday play. So maybe he'll be on the team. Maybe Iker Casillas. But anyway, the second team in Group E is Germany, who did not make it to the seeded teams. Germany usually did pretty well at the World Cup. I mean, they are, three-time champs? Yeah, let's see. 74 for sure. 74, 90, and what's the other time? 54, 74, 90. Oh, yeah, and 2014. That makes 4. I thought they were only at 3. What am I thinking? So 54, when they shocked Hungary in the final, after being down 2-0, they crushed Hungary. And of course, the golden generation of Hungary, Puskas and Bene, and all them. Divas Stamano. So Germany won in 54. 74, they beat Holland, like I said. Well, the World Cup was on their turf anyway. 1990, they beat Argentina in a dull final in Italy. And 2014, when they beat Argentina 1-0, thanks to Mario Götze's goal. Germany was terrible last World Cup. They actually got snake bit and lost to Korea, which means that Germany couldn't make it to the knockout stages. And third in the group, my favorite international country. Well, England too, but Nippon, baby. And that's Japan. 2018, they took down Senegal thanks to the fair play rule and should have taken down Belgium in the round of 16. They were up 2-0 and they choked. Ay, ay, ay. Ota meata. Dagamas. I'm much into Japanese culture, as you can probably guess. Like sumo wrestling, Gaki no Sukai Rende, and some other shit. So Japan, known for their fans who actually bring trash bags to the stadium to clean up the mess after each game, and that was a global phenomenon, like I said, when I talked about Senegal. World Cup-wise for Japan, not really that good. Japan hasn't been to a quarterfinal, right? Yeah, Japan, when they co-hosted in 2002, they fucked up at the quarterfinal stage, and the round 16 stage, and lost their game. I think Turkey got them. But Japan was supposed to get an easy draw and all that as the host. So, for me, it's going to be Spain and Germany. They're going to be the odds-on favorites. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the fourth team. Well, this is another issue. You got a playoff in late June. They'll have Costa Rica, who ended up fourth in CONCACAF, taking on the Oceania winner New Zealand. So you're gonna have Costa Rica or New Zealand be the fourth team with Spain, Germany, and Japan. I don't know. I think Costa Rica will win, but I don't know if they'll have the firepower to take down Spain and Germany, unless Germany does it in 2018 and chokes it away. But yeah, those are my picks to be in Group E and all that. All right, so now we go through Group F on the board, and Group F has the seeded team is Belgium. Speaking of Belgium, like I talked against Japan, Belgium ranked number 2 in the world rankings behind those pesky Brazilians, who I will get to later. But anyway, Belgium seems to be a good country and all that. They have had their golden generation, Hazard, De Bruyne, a lot of players. Belgium is known for having a strong European game in the past 10 years, but they're also known for their chokery, especially at Euro when they lost to Wales in the freaking quarterfinals in 2016 at Euro. That was shocking. Anyway, Belgium is a good country. I kind of like Belgium. But anyway, yeah, Belgium, they've had some good World Cups. 1986, Jean-Marie Paf did pretty well, being in the nets and all that. Belgium fell in the third place game to France, if memory serves me right. And in '94, Michel Prudhomme did pretty well, being the best goalie of the tournament, even though Belgium did suck. And the second team in Group F is Croatia, the 2018 runners-up. I talked about France. Now I got to talk about the runners-up, Croatia. Croatia shocked a lot of people. They kind of got a good draw into getting to the final and all that. Everyone said that one half of the draw was definitely going to be better than the other, and Croatia got the benefit of the draw. I mean, they took out England at the World Cup last time, which pisses me right off. But you know, Kitchener's full of a lot of Croatian people. So for me, it's got to be that Croatia. Yeah, it's gonna be hard being around Kitchener. I mean, there's a Croatian contingent, there's a German contingent, there's an Italian. Oh well, the Italian contingent doesn't matter. English contingent within Kitchener. Maybe Mexico, maybe France, possibly. Definitely Serbia and Portugal. But yeah, Croatia '98 surprisingly took third place. Well, they did lose to France, but they did get. But Slaven Bilic, who was I think the coach of Croatia in 2018, was the villain in the '98 World Cup because he managed to get frig Deschamps. Who was the French guy who got expelled? Meaning Desai Turium? I can't remember, but yeah, he got one. I think it was Manuel Petit. He got him booted, red carded. That meant he couldn't play in the final. Anyway, yeah, Croatia's got some guys. Mandzukic. The third team in Group F is Morocco, the country that seems to complain that they never get the Olympics or the World Cup because of politics and all that. I mean, Morocco almost got the 2026 World Cup, but the united bit of the U.S., Mexico, and Canada swiped it from Morocco. I don't know much about their World Cup history. I'll have to look that up again. I hate looking this up. But there are some countries now. There's nothing around. It's nothing about Morocco. Like it's a decent country, and I like it, but it's not. It's just the soccer aspect. All right, Morocco at the FIFA World Cup. Morocco has qualified 6 times. Well, this will be the sixth time in 2022. In 1970, they got to the group stages but lost to Germany and Peru, although they tied Bulgaria. In 1986, they were in the group with Poland, England, and Portugal. Obviously, if I was around in 1986, well, I was 14 months old, I would have been like, geez, Poland is the country of my sister-in-law. England is my country, and Portugal, I got a lot of Portuguese not family but friends, but yeah. So they tied Poland and England both 0-0, and then they crushed Portugal 3-1. They got to the round of 16 where, funny as they say this, West Germany. So, yeah, it's funny. Poland, England, Portugal, Germany. I have connection with all four countries. Poland is the country. Well, my sister-in-law wasn't born in Poland, but her family came over from Poland, and she was born. England is, of course, my nationality because I'm a diamond. Portugal, because I run into a lot of Portuguese friends, and Germany is my second country because my maternal side. But yeah, they lost 1-0 to Germany in the round 16. 94, they got beaten by Belgium, Saudi Arabia, and Holland in the group stage. 98, they tied Norway 2-2. Should have been in Norway, geez. They got crushed by Brazil, and then they took down Scotland. Ah, but they didn't qualify for the second phase. It was Brazil and Norway. It was like, what? Scotland, you bastards. And in 2018, they got to the World Cup last time. They lost to Iran and Portugal before tying Spain. I think Spain had nothing to play for, but anyway, yeah, Morocco just can't get in their own way. And then that led to the fourth team, and guess what the fourth team is? Unfortunately, all Canadian fans will know this, but yes, it is Canada. So Canada is in the group with Belgium, Croatia, and Morocco. The only time Canada got to the World Cup was 1986, and I was 14 months old when they played France in their first game of the 86 World Cup. They only lost 1-0 to France, which was shocking because France kept missing opportunity after opportunity. It could have been like 5-0 or something like that. And then Canada shit the bed against Hungary, their best chance to win a game or score a tie. But they couldn't score a goal against Hungary. They lost 2-0, and then they got taken out by the Soviets 2-0. But the Soviets were decent in 86. So Canada 0-3 with no goals for, 5 against in the 86 World Cup. This is only their second appearance. And right now, Canada is the only country other than Qatar of the 29 spots in the World Cup, because there's still 3 spots to be determined, to have a World Cup drought longer than 2014. I know Wales has had a drought for what? Wales hasn't been to a World Cup since 1958, right? Who's supposed to be right? Ukraine hasn't been for a little bit, and Scotland hasn't been to the World Cup since 1998, I think. So yeah, so there's like long droughts there, 2 out of 3. Costa Rica was in 2014 for sure. Probably 2018 too. New Zealand went to the World Cup in 2010, but I don't think they got in afterwards. And then Peru was in the last World Cup. Australia, I think, was in a World Cup 2014 at least. And United Emirates were in 1990. So Canada, will they make it out of the group stage? Probably not. I'm going to be realistic and say Belgium and Croatia. Canada will need a Croatian cock-up before they could get in. I think they can beat Morocco, but otherwise, I have my doubts. All right, so just 2 more groups to go. Group G. We see Brazil being the seeded team there. Brazil, of course, the 5-time champion. Can you take that, sucker? Sorry, I had to do the Booker T thing. So Brazil won in what? 1958, 1962, 1970, 1994, and 2002. Of course, the 1958 and 62 teams defined by a young Pele doing his job up in Brazil, and Garrincha too. 1970, they had the perfect team. Jorginho scoring every game of the tournament from group stage to the final, pillar to post, if you will. Not even Pele had achieved that mark. But yeah, Brazil with that famous team goal to beat Italy, with Carlos Alberto being the last guy to touch it. 1994 was when Brazil beat Italy in that penalty shootout where Baggio fucked up and hit it over the bar. 2002 was when. What? Yeah. Did I say 94? No. 1970. Yeah. And in 2002 was when they went to Japan and did their job and took down Germany 2-0 in the final thanks to Oliver Kahn spilling a shot and Ronaldo putting it in. That Ronaldo, not Cristiano Ronaldo. So yeah, so Brazil, of course, got victimized 7-1 by Germany on home turf for 2014 semifinals, one of the worst defeats in World Cup history. And Brazil is like a major number one nation, if you will. Well, they're number one in the world rankings. Anyway, Brazil will be dealing with Switzerland, the first team that was drawn into the group. So Switzerland is drawn in Brazil's group. Switzerland kind of known for their neutrality, their banking, the Swiss Alps, and all that shit. Even some great hockey. Anyway, Switzerland at the World Cup, okay, but you know, they hosted the World Cup in 1954. Countries like Scotland thought it was going to be cold, so they wore turtleneck jerseys and all that, whole wool jerseys. But no, Switzerland was just as hot as you think it was. It was hotter than you think. Fuck. So anyway, yeah, Switzerland's done decently at the World Cup. I can't remember. I know in 2000, was it 6 or 10? Switzerland didn't give up a goal in regular play or in extra time, but they lost him on penalties and they didn't concede a goal technically. That was funny. And then you got Serbia in the group. So you got Serbia in Group G as well. Serbia, aka Yugoslavia. Well, Yugoslavia is now broken up into 7 different countries, but Serbia is the ghost of Yugoslavia. And Yugoslavia did okay in a couple of World Cups and all that, but they just couldn't bring it home and all that, despite the fact that they had some very decent players in the 1980s and 90s. But yeah, Serbia has been known for being victimized by Argentina's group goal in 2006. I have friends who from Serbia, a Serbian background, and heck, there's a Serbian church close to where I live. If you look through my backyard, you'll see like a power station, all that, like a natural gas station. But past that, on the right hand side, is the Serbian church that a lot of Kitchener Serbians come to. So I'm right by a Serbian church, literally. So there'll probably be honking horns and all that bull crap. And then the fourth team is Cameroon from Africa, the greatest African nation ever in the World Cup. Cameroon in 1990 shocked a lot of people by not only going to the group stages, but winning in the group stage. Winning the knockout stage. Because Cameroon shocked Colombia in extra time, thanks to Rene Higuita of Colombia being a dick and not being a goalie, but being a sweeper. Cameroon put a scare in England in the quarterfinals of the 90 World Cup. They were up 2-0, but England put up a pair of goals by Lineker, and we won in extra time. No, sorry, Lineker scored the second goal. David Platt scored the first goal for England in that game, if memory serves me right. But yeah, Cameroon was okay. Like, Cameroon's got some great players, and, I think they're the most successful African team ever in the World Cup. No African team's ever been to the semifinals. There've been a couple of quarterfinals, like one country I will talk about in Group H. For me, I think it's going to be Brazil and maybe Switzerland. I think Cameroon and Serbia also have a chance, but I have a feeling Switzerland will somehow beat Serbia for that second spot out of the group. And of course, you've got Group H. The last 4 teams. Well, they're all are named. They're not in playoff. So the seeded team in Group H is Portugal. Now I have a history about hating on Portugal. I'll give you the cliff notes on that. But Portugal as a nation has only been to what? Is this their 6th World Cup or something? They haven't missed a World Cup since 1988. So 2002, 2006, 2010, 2014, 2018, 2022. So they're 7 times. Portugal had to beat North Macedonia to get this far. Could have been in Italy. It would have been funny. Portugal before, 1986 too. So this is their 8th. Fuck. Well, anyway, yeah. 66, they shocked a lot of people by getting to the semifinals of the World Cup. They were almost victimized in the quarterfinals by North Korea. Yes, I said that right. North Korea. Look up the 1966 World Cup for information. And another Italian fuck up. Thanks to North Korea. Anywho. So, yeah, Portugal was down 3-0 to North Korea in the quarterfinals. And thanks to Eusebio's 4 goals, They won the game. They got to the semis against England and lost. I think they took third, didn't they? Or did Argentina take third? Oh no, they took third against Argentina. I think. Can't remember. But regardless, 86, they were part of England. They beat England, and England needed to beat the tar out of Poland to get to the knockout stages. Portugal, I think, lost to, I would say Brazil, but I'm wrong. No, Brazil took down Northern Ireland. I don't know who Portugal lost to in that one. But anyway, since 2002, they've been to every World Cup. They've had their ups and downs. 2002 seemed to be an up, but unfortunately, they lost to the Americans of all teams 3-2, and their World Cup dreams were dashed. 2006, they got through to the knockout stages. They got to the round of 16, taking down the Dutch in one of the most brutal games ever for discipline because there were 4 red cards and 16 yellow cards dished out. And then let's not forget Canada Day 2006. That's a 21-year-old watching the game and all that, hoping England could beat Portugal because, Kitchener is full of Portugal people. Cambridge too, but anyway. And then the shock of fucking Wayne Rooney losing his discipline, stomping on Ricardo Carvalho's tender fiddles, and then freaking Cristiano Ronaldo winking at Rooney. And they were teammates on Man U, of all places, things. So that started my hate affair with Portuguese soccer. Not with Portuguese people, but Portuguese soccer. And I found that the first tournament England does better than Portugal, and they both make the final. They both make that tournament. Then I stopped my feud. Unfortunately, that feud lasted longer than it should have. But in 2018, Portugal fell at the first hurdle. Cristiano Ronaldo was supposed to face Leo Messi in the quarterfinals, but they both failed, Portugal and Argentina. And England got to the Final Four. They lost the third place match to Belgium. No big deal. But still, yeah. But that whole England run got me thinking, I need to stop this feud with Portugal. So I vowed not to hate on Portugal's soccer team. Well, England did better than Portugal at Euro anyway, so that would have ended it. But yeah, still. Okay, second team is Uruguay. I know that Homer Simpson in an episode that Bart calls Australia and then Bart calls all the countries in South America. Look at this country. You are gay. Nope, it's Uruguay. Uruguay, the first ever World Cup champs in 1930. Heck, they even won the World Cup in 1950 as they shocked Brazil in the final game of the tournament. In fact, a famous journalist said there's been only 2 people who have silenced the Maracanã, a famous stadium that holds over 150,000 people. Andres Gigia, the Uruguay goal scorer who sunk Brazil, and also Frank Sinatra. I'm surprised that wasn't the Pope. But anyway, yeah, Uruguay is in Group H. They've been okay. In 1986, they controversially got to the knockout stages by knocking 7 bells at Scotland, making sure Scotland didn't get the win needed to go to the knockout stages. Uruguay, known for Luis Suarez's antics. 2010, his handball that allegedly was supposed to help Uruguay out against Ghana in the knockout stages. Well, in the quarterfinals, and somehow Asamoah Gyan missing for Ghana, that would have given an African team a trip to the Final Four. But no, it failed. Suarez dancing a jig. Uruguay winning on penalties. No Suarez, no way. Uruguay lost the semifinal and lost the third place game to Germany. And of course, Luis Suarez with his biting of Chiellini of Italy in the 2014 World Cup, being a bit of a dick and all that. Justice must be served. Korea is in Group H as well. South Korea, I must say. Korea Republic. South Korea, I think, hasn't missed a World Cup since 94. Have they? Since 1990? I don't know. Korea, I think, has a long streak of making the World Cups and all that. Although that before 2002, they were known for always failing at the World Cups. But on home turf in 2002, they proved everyone wrong by getting to the semifinals, losing the bronze medal game to Turkey, thanks to a goal like 13 seconds into the game. But of course, everyone says that was fixed because Korea should not have been in Italy in the round of 16 in 2002. And I agree. I actually agree. Italy should have taken care of business themselves against Korea, for one thing. But yeah, I think Korea got a little bit of help. And then against Spain, Korea wasn't really supposed to beat Spain in the quarterfinals, but they got help. And then Korea then laid an egg against, I think it was Germany. Yeah, it was against Germany because Brazil played Turkey in that other semifinal. But yeah, they laid an egg against Germany, and then Turkey got them for bronze. And speaking of Ghana, that's the last team I will talk about. Ghana is in Group H. So Ghana, the Black Stars as they call it. As I said, 2010, they had a good chance to be the first African team to get to the semifinals, but they failed miserably thanks to some missed penalties and all that. But Ghana's a pretty good African team. For me, it's going to be close, but I am thinking Brazil. I think it's going to be Portugal. I think Portugal and Uruguay are the heavy favorites. Ghana can make a surprise if Portugal and Uruguay both mess up. But anyway. So anyway, that's all I've got for this video. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for understanding how I like to talk about the World Cup and all that. But don't worry, I'll try to make World Cup videos like leading up to the tournament by September and October. So you gotta wait and see. I do have some topics lined up that you may want to sit down, listen, and deal with like a podcast. People like podcasts, right? Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.